Hello everyone, Summer here. Today I'm bringing you a tutorial on making 3D lotus flowers using the lotus flower die from La La Land Crafts. These are the 3D flowers, and this is the die. Now it's a wafer thin die. I use it through my Cuttlebug using the A plate, the B plate, and the C plate. You can also emboss, if you see the indentations here in the lily pad. So you can run the lily pad through with your 2B plates and your rubber embossing mat. The things that you'll need in order to make the flower is you'll need some type of foam, which I use a cut up mouse pad. You'll need a stylus. I prefer to have a couple different sizes since I'm doing a couple different flowers. You'll also need some tweezers, some adhesive. I like to use the Scotch quick dry glue. And then I also like to ink the edges of my lily pad, so I'm using some peeled paint distress ink. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to cut your flower. I cut it 3 times, and then I cut 8 of the stars and then 2 lily pads. Of the 3 cuts that you're going to make, because this does make all of them at one time, you're going to keep 2 of the largest, 3 of the next size, 2 of the next, and then 3 of the smallest. So with the largest one, I take a larger size stylus and I just pull on the edges and they start to curl up, just like with making any flower. And you go all the way around all of the sides of your petals to do it. And then once that's done, then I like to go in the center and cup, and it'll push it up for you into a cup shape. So you'll do that with all of your petals, and then in your center ones, this is what I like to use a smaller ball for since it's a little bit smaller in size. When you do it, I really like to push on the centers of the smaller petals to really get a cup shape. And once that's all done, then you end up with a shape like this. Now you can also take, once it's done, and you can push them in to get a little bit more of a cup, but it gives a nice rounded shape for those center flowers. And you're going to do that with all 3. So once you're done, it's like this with just these petals. And I like to get a little bit flatter as the flower goes down so that you really get that dimension. Then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to work with your stars. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to pull out with that ball, cupping your center of your flower. And then I like to roll the ball in the middle to get a cup shape and push it down a little bit more to get it really, really teeny tiny. And you'll do that for 4 of the 8 centerpieces that you made. And then once that's done, then it's time for the assembly of the flower. Now I like to work in groups, so the first group I will start with the base. I will put in some of my quick dry glue, and then I will stagger the petals and let those dry. The next thing that I like to do is then start with the center of the flower. Well, I guess it would be the middle because this is the center. And you're going to do the same thing, and you're going to stagger your pieces. Really push it down in there to let it adhere together. Set that aside to dry. Now this is where the tweezers come in, because dealing with these little itty bitty intricate pieces, I like to take and use my tweezers and add the glue to the back of each piece as I layer it down. And since you're doing 4 of these, you just do a little bit off center. You're not going to stagger directly into the middle, just a little bit off center for each one. Another reason why I like the quick dry glue is because it's got a flat base, and you can keep it upside down so that your glue is always going down to the bottom when you're making flowers. So now that you've got your pieces together, I'm going to scrunch it back up just a little bit while that glue's drying, because I want it nice and tight. And then with my tweezers, do the same thing, put a little bit of glue, and then add it to the center of my flower. So there's the flower. And then I take my finger dauber and the peeled paint, and I just go through and ink the edges. And then you can take and cup this a little bit if you want to give it a little bit more dimension. And then just adhere it down. And so there is your flower. Now with that, you can do other things, like this one I added a little bit of, I don't know if you can see it, glossy accents to it to give like little droplets of water. And you do the same thing with your other set to make the small flower. The only difference is that when you do the centers, I take and I cut off about a 1/16 of an inch all the way around, just so that it's not sticking up above that center. and cup it and place it in the center. So thank you for watching. Here is a project that I made using the 3D Lotus flower. Have a great day.